Why are you being so difficult? I'm his grandmother. The words shot out of my mother-in-law's mouth, her voice rising with frustration as she stared at me across the kitchen table. Her hands were gripping the edge of the table as if she were trying to steady herself, but I could see the tension in her shoulders. I froze, holding my baby boy in my arms. He was only a few months old, the first grandchild on both sides of the family. This should have been a time for bonding, for joy. Instead, I felt like I was suffocating under the weight of expectations, my mother-in-law's expectations, and my husband's refusal to see the problem. I'm not being difficult, I said, trying to keep my voice even. I just want to be the one who takes care of him, especially now that I'm back at work. I don't need you to step in and take over. She didn't listen, of course. You're too attached to him. You're not going to burn out. You need help. Let me take him. I'll help. I'll be good for him. Her voice was soft, but there was an unmistakable edge to it. I could hear the implied criticism in her words. What's the harm in me watching him once a week? I tried to keep calm, but I could feel my blood pressure rising. Because I don't trust you to follow my rules, I said, my tone colder now. You ignore everything I ask. The way you dress him, the way you handle him, it's not the way I want it done. I'm his mother. She huffed, eyes narrowing. You don't need to act like I'm trying to steal him away from you. I'm just trying to help. I wanted to shout at her, tell her that it wasn't about her trying to take him away. It was about her undermining my authority as a mother, making decisions without consulting me, and treating him like a doll to play with. But instead I simply nodded, trying not to let the anger show on my face. The next day, I returned home from work, already exhausted. I couldn't wait to see my baby, but when I walked through the door, I saw him lying on the couch, wrapped in a thick fleece blanket, his tiny body swaddled up like a burrito. My heart sank. What did I tell you about blankets? I called out, my voice shaky with frustration. My mother-in-law was sitting in the living room, scrolling through her phone. She glanced up casually, as if nothing was wrong. Oh, he was cold. I wrapped him up. It's fine. No. It's not fine, I snapped. You know he can overheat in that blanket, especially when he's just lying there. I've told you not to wrap him up like that when I'm not home. She shrugged, her face impassive. He seemed fine to me. He's not fine. You're not listening to me. My hands clenched into fists at my sides. Every time I leave him with you, you completely ignore what I say, and it's making me crazy. She finally looked up from her phone, raising an eyebrow. You're being a little dramatic. It's just a blanket. That's not the point. I was practically yelling now, my chest tightening. You never listen to me. And if you can't respect my wishes over small things like this, I can't trust you with bigger things. I can't trust you with my son. I turned away, pacing the room to calm down. But the words had already left my mouth. The silence that followed felt suffocating. I didn't know if I could continue like this. Feeling like a third wheel in my own home, like my husband and his mother were making decisions without consulting me, without considering how it made me feel. Is there really a problem with what I'm doing? I asked my husband that night. He had been mostly silent, watching me with a slight frown as I vented my frustrations. Mark was quiet for a long moment, his gaze flicking over to me. You're being too harsh on her, he said, his voice gentle but firm. She's trying to help. She's excited about being a grandmother. Why can't you let her do this one thing? I felt a wave of disbelief wash over me. This is not about her trying to be a grandmother, Mark. It's about her disrespecting me as a mother. She's constantly doing things I ask her not to do. If I say no socks, she puts them on him anyway. If I say don't wrap him in a blanket, she does it anyway. And you know what? I don't feel heard. I don't feel respected. You're overreacting, he said softly, but I could hear the slight defensiveness in his voice. She's just trying to help. I don't think it's as big a deal as you're making it out to be. No. I said, my voice rising. It's a huge deal. These are my rules, my decisions for our son. And I'm telling you, if she can't follow the small things, how am I supposed to trust her with the big things? How am I supposed to trust her alone with him, if she can't even respect what I'm asking her to do? Mark sighed, rubbing his face with his hands. Look, I'll talk to her, but you have to understand where she's coming from. She's just trying to be involved. You're making her out to be the bad guy. I cross my arms over my chest. She is the bad guy when she doesn't respect my boundaries. And you're making her out to be the victim. Mark stood up from the couch, running a hand through his hair. I'm not making her the victim. But you're making her feel like she's the enemy. And that's not fair. I shook my head, tears welling in my eyes. I don't know how much more of this I can take, Mark. I feel like I'm losing control of everything. I feel like I'm losing control of my own family. The next few weeks were a blur of tension. Mark continued to act like nothing was wrong, telling me I was being too critical, trying to convince me to ease up on my mother-in-law. But every time I came home to find my son in an outfit I didn't pick out, or in a blanket I specifically told her not to use, I felt a piece of me chip away. It wasn't just about the baby anymore. It was about the power struggle between me, Mark, and his mother. I was no longer just the mother of my child. I was a bystander in my own life, a third wheel in my own home. Things came to a head one day when my mother-in-law just walked in unannounced while I was in the middle of getting ready for work. I was in the bathroom, and when I came out, there she was standing in the living room, holding my son like she had every right to be there. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice tight with frustration. "I just came to see my grandson," she said, her smile far too casual. "I haven't seen him all day." "I didn't say you could come over," I shot back, stepping forward to take my son from her. She didn't even flinch. "You don't have to ask me to see him. I'm his grandmother, and I can visit when I want. You need to respect my space," I snapped, my patience finally running out. "And you need to stop walking in like you own the place." Mark walked in then, looking surprised. "What's going on?" "Tell your mother to stop barging in whenever she feels like it," I shouted, glaring at him. "Come on, stop being so dramatic," Mark said, his tone dismissive. "She's just here to see the baby." "No," I said, my voice shaking with anger. "This isn't just about seeing the baby. This is about you letting her walk all over me. You're letting her treat me like I'm the one who doesn't belong in this family." That night, I sat in our bedroom, my arms wrapped around my knees, feeling completely drained. Mark had apologized for his mother's behavior, but it didn't feel like enough. It felt like a band-aid on a wound that was too deep to heal with simple words. "I can't keep doing this," I said to Mark, my voice barely above a whisper. "I can't keep pretending like everything is fine when it's not. I'm losing myself in all of this, and I don't know who I am anymore." He didn't know what to say, and that in itself spoke volumes. I was done. Done feeling invisible. Done feeling like I didn't matter in my own home. I was done being the third wheel in my own marriage. It wasn't about being unreasonable. It was about being heard. It was about having a voice in the decisions that affected my life and the life of